Alright, you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's another El Clásico where Barcelona have just beat Real Madrid 4-3, and we need to talk about it. But if you haven't seen my face before, you do not know me, you've never watched my videos, maybe you just happen to come across your channel, or maybe you've been watching my videos and you haven't yet subscribed. Hey friend, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Just Max, and on this channel we talk about football from La Liga to the Champions League and definitely the Prem. So if that's something you're interested in, please my friend, stick around, be my friend, be my homie. Let's chat football, because today one of the biggest spectacles in world football, in club football, has just taken place between Barcelona and Real Madrid. And Barcelona have once again beat Real Madrid in another El Clásico this season. And today's game was a little bit more chaotic than we've seen from Barcelona, but ultimately they won. But before we get into the details of what happened and my thoughts on the whole situation, let us first of all look at the teams that, the both coaches put out. This, by the way, is Ancelotti's final El Clásico for Real Madrid, as he has been announced to be departing the club at the end of the season. And the team he chose to put was Thibaut Courtois in goal. We do know that Real Madrid does not have a back line, so of course we knew there was going to be some makeshift changes here and there. We did see García coming in that left back position, Raúl Asensio in the center back position, with Adrien Tchouaméni pairing for that position, and then Lucas Vázquez in the right back position. Federico Valverde needed to be in midfield, partnering with Dani Ceballos. It's just as that in that defensive midfield position. We did have Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr. and Arda Güler, with Kylian Mbappé rounding out the attack for Real Madrid. On the Barcelona end of team, this is just a team that is coming up that heartbreaking defeat from Inter Milan. So we always wondered if they would have the mental capacity, the mental wherewithal to be able to handle the occasion that is demand. So the team that Hansi Flick decided to put in, in this match, bearing all the noise about fatigue and whatnot, was Wojciech Szczesny in goal, Eric Garcia coming in for that injured Jules Koundé. And by the way, Eric Garcia has been really turning up of late. Pau Kubasi came into the starting lineup in center back, pairing with Inigo Martinez. We did have Gerard Martin holding that left back position for Alejandro Balde. Frenkie de Jong and Pedri continued in that double pivot position. We saw the attacking midfield positions of Lamine Yamal on the right flank, Dani Olmo in the middle, and Raphinha in the left. And then of course we still don't have Robert Lewandowski, and it was Ferran Torres who led the line for Barcelona today. And immediately this was a very interesting game, and a Clásico match is always going to be an interesting game regardless. But within the first 5 minutes we started to get a sense of the waiting, a late challenge from Szczesny, and at that point I was very flabbergasted and stressed, because I was looking to myself thinking, not another situation where just one ball over the top and the Barcelona high line is broken. And definitely and now I would think that because Szczesny has played such a long time in Barcelona now, he would know when to just hold himself and when to make Kylian Mbappé shoot. Unfortunately, when I saw the replay, I thought, oh, Barcelona should not be conceding a penalty here because it is an offside. Kylian Mbappé looked offside. Now, I'm filming this video live, so I don't really know how to insert the image. But like the image, if you go on social media, the image showed Kylian Mbappé clearly offside when that move started. So it was my immediate thought that Barcelona will get that ball, pull back, and we will just continue the game. To my surprise, the VAR did get the opportunity to review that penalty kick that was awarded by the referee, and somehow they thought it was a goal scoring opportunity, and therefore they awarded. I was flabbergasted. I can't even lie. They awarded that penalty, and I was flabbergasted, and I couldn't understand for the life of me how I, from the benefit of my television in my home, can see that this was an offside position from Kylian Mbappé, and the VAR cannot. And mind you, this is still the same VAR that was be able to, in 0.3 nanoseconds, were able to determine that Julian Alvarez double kicked the ball in the UEFA Champions League clash between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. Like, and they still cannot see that Kylian Mbappé was up. It was flabbergasting to me. Anywho, Kylian Mbappé steps up, takes a very good penalty, but I'm once again disappointed in the performance of Szczesny on this occasion, because I thought he dived the right way. I thought he got a hand to it. He really should have done better. And honestly, the goalkeeping position at Barcelona is something that we really need to have a serious conversation about, because it's not just about, you know, being able to do one or two things here and there. It's consistency. With the kind of match, that the style that we play, we're going to need a goalkeeper who can make stops, who can stop penalties, who can do all of this stuff. I was not impressed with Szczesny with some of the goals that were considered against Inter Milan, and on this occasion, with that first penalty by Kylian Mbappé, I was not impressed once again, because I felt like you've already done the hard work. You should have gotten a stronger hand to it. That should not have been a considered goal. But anyway, whatever. Barcelona considers 1-0 to Real Madrid. We continue to press, and I was thinking, you know what, Barcelona seem to be like, they are, you know, getting the groove of things. They're really starting to feel themselves, and once again, Real Madrid are able to breach that high line from Barcelona. Again, it's just a simple ball over the top, and Kylian Mbappé is off on goal this time around. And this time around, it's a really clean situation. It was a very, very clean opportunity. Kylian Mbappé it was the 14th minute, and he slots the ball past Szczesny. And honestly, I don't blame Szczesny for this one. It was a really well taken goal from Kylian Mbappé. It was wonderful the way that Real Madrid constructed that entire move. It was just one or two passes over, and Barcelona's defense was like seriously shattered, which I think we need to talk about, but not at the moment. Anyway, I was thinking, I have to talk about the fact that even the fact that Barcelona was down in that moment, for me, I never really felt bothered. I never really felt sad. I never really felt like worried, because I think Barcelona are starting to become that team where they give teams a two goal head start, and then they just start to play with you. Like that's just what they do. Like they give you a 2-goal head start, and then they go into like attack mode, which, by the way, while this is very cute, I don't want it to be something that we continue, because there'll come a day that we're not able to do one of these comeback situations. So I'd much rather we get the 2-goal head start ourselves rather than giving away a 2-goal head start. However, Barcelona continue to do what makes them set them apart from the season, which is they're going to press you. They're not going to give you time on the ball to think. They're going to, you know, limit you to the lower third of your half, and they're going to essentially play the entire 90 minutes in that half. And that is what Real Madrid were struggling with Barcelona in that first half, because yes, immediately after Real Madrid went that 2 goals up, it was like pro mode. It was advanced mode from this moment. Like Barcelona were just pressing them deep into their own half. They could not come out. They could not string passes together. The over the top passes that they were able to make earlier, they just couldn't do it. And I kept on hearing the commentators be like, why do not just throwing the ball over the top? The one is like, I think it's easy. Like when you see 3 players are on you immediately, and like they're doubling, they're quadrupling you at the same time. Like it's not easy to look around the field and see where your teammates are. So I really don't blame Real Madrid for not continuing that style that they were playing within the first 40 minutes, because Barcelona's press went to another level. It was like Genghis pressing Pro Max. That's to say, Barcelona gets a corner kick and guess who starts the comeback for Barcelona? It's another headed goal from García. And I just want to take a moment to appreciate this player, because this is a player that has had to come in because Jules Koundé is injured, and he has really proven his worth every single time. García was the one who started our comeback against Inter Milan. It was a headed goal. Today, another wonderful delivery in the near post. We get a flick on by Ferran Torres, and then García just heads the ball past Thibaut Courtois, whom, by the way, had been having a wonderful performance for Real Madrid up until that moment. And immediately when that ball went in, I was like, it's on. Like, I just had that conviction that, yep, I was like, like like, that's literally how I felt, because I was like, I've seen this movie many times. I've seen them do this many times. We've not gone too far into the half, like into the match. Like, it's at that point, it's the 19th minute. Real Madrid were 2-0 up at the 14th minute. It's the 19th minute. García pulls one goal back, and I just knew I've seen this movie before. Like, I really have. I was so excited. I was like, let's go, let's get this going. And honestly, from then on, it just became a little bit more chaotic for Real Madrid, in my opinion. Their defense was chaotic. The midfield was chaotic. And it's not to say that Barcelona are any better. Now, I will talk about the chaotic defending from both teams later. I'm just saving that, but I have to keep telling you guys, because that defending, whoo! You know, and for me, I was just like, wow. Every time that Barcelona attacked Real Madrid, it looked like a scoring opportunity. Thibaut Courtois was fantastic in the way he was able to block shots, in the way he was making some saves. And I thought he was really, really wonderful. Like, the fact that up until the 30th minute, the fact that Barcelona were only able to score one goal was in all essence thanks to Thibaut Courtois' heroism. Because not for nothing, Real Madrid should have gone down like way more goals than that, but we will still see more goals for Barcelona in this game. And honestly, it's like game mode. Like, it's a goal by Lamine Yamal. Is one of those favorite bending, curling, like, kind of goals. We've seen it many times. You're a player, you're the opposition player, you know what he wants to do. You studied the video. I saw a tweet online, or news article online, that talked about how García, when he knew that he was going to be playing this game, he's been studying Lamine Yamal's move all season, all week, because he wants to be able to guard Lamine Yamal in the way that, you know, he's not able to be efficient in this game. All of that to say, you know what he's about to do. You know he's going to go into his preferred left. You know this, but like, there's just that level of skill that he is just cultivated at the tender age of 17, that you're not really able to stop it. It's another wonderful strike from Lamine Yamal. And it's not just the strike that impresses me, it's how he looks to the Montjuic crowd and he's like, come on, like, I'm in charge, like, relax, everything is Gucci. Like, and I'm like, you talk your talk. You what? You talk your talk, because he's backed it up every single time this season. Mind you, there was a time, I think the game before Inter Milan, maybe, give or take, and he had made a comment in the media talking about, like, for this season, Real Madrid can beat us, and if they cannot beat us, they can talk to me. And, you know, and I was like, yeah. And when he scored that goal today on the 32nd minute to bring Barcelona back into the match, I was like, that's exactly what he meant. That's literally what he meant, in terms of, like, you can beat me, you can't say nothing to me. Like, you really cannot say nothing to me. And I was like, that's on period, because he was amazing. That was another amazing goal. And honestly, we have to talk about the fact that at that moment, even though Barcelona were playing some of the best football, like, I had to talk about how rattled the Real Madrid players looked in that moment. It was almost like shell-shocked, I would say. Like, okay, we went 2-0 up, and suddenly it's the 32nd minute and Barcelona are back. How are they back? Like, how are they back? And honestly, if you ask me, I cannot really tell you how they're back, because it's what it is. This is what Barcelona do. They give you a 2-goal head start, and then they snatch it away from you. It's like taking candy from kids. Exactly. Because not too long after that, like 2 minutes after Lamine Yamal's goal, guess who scores? Guess who scores? It's my boy, my Ballon d'Or, my guy, Raphinha, who is having a very sensational season under Hansi Flick. This is like really a player redefined. He had 2 goals in this game within that first space of that first half. Within 10 minutes, I would say he had 2 wonderful goals. I think Lamine Yamal had 1 assist. It was just the way Barcelona were able to carve, you know, the Real Madrid defense, like, split them wide open. One very good pass here, a very good team move here and there, and it was really, really well taken goals. I was like, from going 2-0 down within the first 14 minutes to then taking the remaining minutes in the first half to essentially putting Real Madrid on their behind. This is what Barcelona do. This is why they're almost, it's not yet official, it's not yet mathematically official yet, it's almost, you know, but they're really in a very good position to win La Liga this season. That Raphinha, both Raphinha goals were just sensational. The way they played the ball, the way they carried it, and honestly, it's just like the commentator at some point said Barcelona play like a team that know they're good. Like, even though they're down, they play like a team that know they're good. And honestly, I cannot deny it. Like, the way they carry themselves, even in that first half, like, I could see more goals coming. And I was so excited for that second half. And honestly, like, Barcelona were wearing Travis Scott's logo on the El Clásico jersey today. And he was in the stands. And Travis Scott is a culé, apparently, because he was losing his mind when Barcelona was coming back. He was putting his hands up, like, he was really having the time of his life. And honestly, it's so really good to see, like, a musician who's taking advantage, or who's, you know, part of the sponsorship with Spotify, and, you know, have his name on the El Clásico jersey and comes to watch the game and is so really into it. It's like there was nothing prim and proper about him there. He was jumping and waving the scarves and all of that. I really enjoyed it. I was like, yes, you're a culé, sir. You are a Blaugrana. Let's go on. But then we come into the second half, and honestly, I expected Barcelona to score more goals, but we only did get the one goal from Kylian Mbappé again, because of a defensive mistake by Barcelona. And after I talk about this good, then we're going to go talk about those defensive problems. So Barcelona end up, you know, it was just like a weird situation, mind you. Before this, Kylian Mbappé did score that goal on the 70th minute. I felt like Raphinha could have scored a quadruple at this point. He did miss two sitters, one in the first half and one in the second half as well. You know, he did miss a couple of goals. He wasn't quite efficient. There was that moment with Ferran Torres that he didn't know if he was onside. We come to find out he was onside. He kind of messed it up. So Barcelona did have opportunities to put the game away. And then there was this mistake where Barcelona are essentially defending on the halfway line. They lose the ball, and Kylian Mbappé and Vinicius Jr. is through on goal, running straight at Szczesny. And kudos to Vinicius Jr. for making the right decision in that moment, because he could have chosen to go on his own to try and test Szczesny, but he didn't do that. He kind of opted to pass the ball to Kylian Mbappé, who was in a much better position to kind of get one back for Real Madrid. And at that point, it was three goals for Real Madrid, 4 goals for Barcelona. And you could not doubt, because it was that was at the 70th minute, you could not doubt that there were more goals in the game, because of course this was a team or a match that was the defense was not defending. Now for Real Madrid, I'm going to be a little bit more slack or more relent on them for their defending, because most of Real Madrid backline is injured anyway. There is no Antonio Rudiger. There is, and I don't really know the Real Madrid players off the top of my head, but like they do have a few significant backline. Alaba, Dani Ceballos, was it? You know, not that one, the other one. The one that was supposed to be for, that they wanted to give the second place in the Ballon d'Or. Oh, I forget his name. Yeah, Dani Carvajal. Yes, that's the one. Dani Carvajal. Yes. And, you know, they have a few of this backlines really injured. So I'm giving them a little bit of grace, because Real Madrid's season this year has been rattled by injury. It's really been very devastating for them. Aurélien Tchouaméni is not naturally a centre-back, so the fact that he is even playing that centre-back position is questionable, because of course there was nobody to play that position, so he had to come into there. Lucas Vázquez, if Dani Carvajal is fit and all right, he would not see any playing time. So he's only there because, well, they need someone there. Now, he did make a couple of mistakes that led to, I think, some of Barcelona's, better chances in this game. And so somebody might ask, but why is Lucas Vázquez still starting if we already know that he's going to be a liability in that right back position? I don't know. I'm not Ancelotti. Maybe he sees something in training, because Lucas Vázquez for Real Madrid all season has been a liability in that right back position. But at the same time, I hazard a defense of Ancelotti by saying, okay, fine. you don't want Lucas Vázquez in the right back position, then who do you play? You might say, why not play Federico Valverde there? Fine, but the problem is Federico Valverde is just one player. He can only play in one spot, right? So if you take Federico Valverde out of the defensive midfield position, who plays there? So you see that this Real Madrid team is really hanging by a thread in terms of being balanced. So I'm a little bit more lenient on the Real Madrid players here in terms of their defensive backline not being what it needs to be. However, for Barcelona, I'm a little bit more harsh because we essentially have what would be a very good backline. Yes, we did not have what's his name? We did not have Balde or Koundé, starting for Barcelona in this match. But honestly, if I'm being honest, if I'm being kiki, I don't think that they would have done anything different from what these people did right now. Yes, we had Eric Garcia, yes, we did have Gerard Martin, and eventually we had Hector Fort and Alejandro Balde that came in. But at the end of the day, I felt like they would have defended the exact same way and therefore shipped in some of these goals that they did end up shipping, which is to say that we need to do better in our defense. There has to be a level of maturity that we need to attain in the way we defend when we are leading or when we are protecting a lead, which is something that we saw against Inter Milan. Maybe we don't go all out. Maybe we can, reduce the high line, be a little bit more dynamic with it. Do we need to actually be on the halfway line at each point? Maybe not. Do we need to be defending in the opponent's half, knowing that if a ball is coming from the opponent's half, there will not be an offside? Do we need to do that? Probably not. We need to have that level of maturity in understanding when do we want to push up, when do we want to stay back, and how far do we want to push up. Because today, that second goal and the third goal from Mbappé was just it was just from the fact that Barcelona's high line was a bit too high, and that's something that killed us against Inter Milan. And honestly, I cannot take another season where we are not a little bit more disciplined in the way we handled it. The only difference I would say for Barcelona is when Alejandro Balde did come in, I was like, oh, this is what we missed against Inter Milan. Because he was like a cheetah. He was running. I was like, oh my God. Had you been with us in Milan, things would have been sensational. Things would have been so different because you could immediately see the difference between Alejandro Balde and Gerard Martin. And this is just literally his first game back. And honestly, I was like, it was such a very good performance. I mean, of course, for his first game, but I could see what we could do. And even with this Real Madrid team in that first half before Alejandro Balde came in and the way Barcelona was playing through that Real Madrid defense, I just was thinking, oh, if we had Koundé and if we had Alejandro Balde, this would be a whole different kind of game because Barcelona were going to cut them to pieces. They were really going to because our fullbacks were not fullbacking, Gerard Martin, but I felt like once Alejandro Balde came in, we could see what we missed, and it's so nice to see him back in that, back in the starting squad. Of course, we never want any player to be injured, but yeah, welcome back, Alejandro Balde. Now, I have to say this, that at some point, the commentators did remind me Barcelona are doing all of this without their top goal scorer being on the pitch. And I was like, oh, that's true. Robert Lewandowski is not on the pitch. And Barcelona are cutting apart Real Madrid in this manner. Or they are 4-3 up on Real Madrid. And then they could have easily scored more goals. They could have really taken Real Madrid up. And that's just to speak about how good this Barcelona team is. They are a team of the future. I know a lot of us Barca fans were very disappointed when Barcelona ended up losing to Inter Milan. But this Barcelona team is a team that is all ahead of schedule in terms of what we expect them to achieve in the future. I never certainly expected them to be in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. I never thought we were going to win it at the start of the season, though when, just like human being, when we got there, I started to dream, I started to have hope, I started to believe because it was just within reach. So when I look back on what this Barcelona team a team of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, the average age in Barcelona being 22, give or take, knowing that they have so many years ahead of them. I'm excited for some of the best things that are yet to come, because I know that this team are going to light up Europe and look up. But that's not all of that to say, Real Madrid did have an opportunity to level this game. They could have come back, no cap, they really could have. There was that opportunity when this little boy, Victor Munoz, came in for Real Madrid, and he had two sensational opportunities where he skied it wide, and there was another opportunity to test Szczesny. He did not do that, and I felt maybe he was like a little bit excited, a little bit, very happy to be on the pitch. If he had more experience, it definitely would have been 4-4. And Kylian Mbappé, of course, did have an opportunity to score 4 goals against Barcelona when he did get into a shooting position, but just put it a little bit wide. At that moment, I was like, oh my God. I was a little bit like scared, a little bit worried, because of course we need all 3 points in this game. For Real Madrid, a draw would have not been good for them anyway, because in La Liga it's more of a head-to-head. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, this is why this result is significant for Barcelona. If Barcelona and Real Madrid do end up the season with the same points, for example, let's say Barcelona end up losing the next 2 games, which is, and somehow they and Real Madrid end up with the same points. La Liga goes by head-to-head basis. They're going to look at when we played each other. Did you win me? By how many goals? How many goals were scored? All right. And right now, in this La Liga clash versus Barcelona, it's advantage Barcelona, in that Barcelona won the first game 4-0. Real Madrid would have hoped to win this game 5-0 to have that head-to-head advantage against Barcelona. That did not happen. Barcelona have now scored an additional 4 goals. So if you check the head-to-head versus Real Madrid, it is advantage Barcelona, because they essentially won the 2 games, and in terms of goal difference, it is 8-3. So it's kind of significant. So had Mbappe scored that goal, it would have been good. Actually, now that I think about it, it wouldn't have been, because it would have meant that they drew the match, which in head-to-head basis is still in favor of Barcelona. Real Madrid really needed to win this game. That's the summary of it all. That did not happen. Real Madrid did not win this game. We did have a moment of drama at the end, when Fermin Lopez ended up scoring what I thought was the winner. It was a sensational goal from Fermin Lopez. If you know me, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know that I love Fermin Lopez. He's just like a live wire. Like, I really love him. He's always buzzing and humming in attack. He's always doing something. And he had a moment where him and him and Lucas Vázquez were entangled on the right flank. He somehow gets the ball away from Lucas Vázquez, dribbles a couple of players, and then scores a screamer from just the edge of the box or inside the box. And I lost my mind. Everybody in the Montjuic lost their mind. There was screaming, there was excitement, there was celebration, and I thought it was okay until the referee chopped up the goal for handball. And that brings us to the handball controversies of this match, because I was looking at that and I'm thinking, oh, so when it comes to Barcelona, the ball hitting the hand is a handball, but when it comes to Tchouaméni, the ball hitting the hand is not a penalty? Are you serious? Because now that Fermin Lopez goal, I don't mind it. Like, okay, fine, no problem, right? They was struggling for the ball did end up hitting his hand, and there was still a lot of things to do before he scored the goal. It's not like the handball was directly beneficial to the goal by any means necessary, no, but at the same time, I was like, okay, why this? So the referee somehow thought, oh, that's a foul, let's pull it back, let's chop up the goal, despite the entire celebrations and whatnot. But when it came to the reverse being the case, and I don't want to spend this video talking about all the refereeing controversies that happened in La Liga, in this match, because we will not close today. I don't want to talk about that, but I do want to talk about this because there were 2 handballs that were called, and Yeah, okay. So Tchouaméni or Ferran Torres was going to strike a shot on goal. Tchouaméni had his hand out. The ball did hit his hand. Now the controversy with the handball thingy is that nobody really knows how to interpret the handball. Depending on which referee on the day, it would have been called a handball. It would have been called a penalty, because from my understanding of defending, your hands needed to be at your back to show that you are not trying to touch the ball. However, in this situation, his hands was to his side and quite outstretched, in my opinion, and with what my eyes could see. Now, I am recording this while live. Obviously, I don't have the infrastructure to I don't know how to insert the pictures, but you could see his hands were like this, and it hits his hand. This referee goes to VAR, reviews the stuff, and says it is not a penalty. His hands like this, not like this, literally, and it's... I'm flabbergasted. So you can imagine my annoyance, a little bit disappointment when that Fermin Lopez goal was chopped off for handball. I was like, okay, I see you. But anyway, but it was again another sensational match between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Barcelona, for the first time in a very long time, do the double over Real Madrid in La Liga, but also for the first time in forever, since there was 4 El Clásico played in a season, Barcelona have won all 4 El Clásicos against Real Madrid this season. And this is something that needs to be given more attention, because Barcelona have really outplayed Real Madrid on each and every given occasion this season. Hansi Flick has really come into the team, turned things around, giving us a season to enjoy. We never really thought we would be here. I remember when Kylian Mbappé signed for Real Madrid, nobody ever counted Barcelona as a potential title contender, especially given our over-documented troubles in being able to register players and, the club's financial positions. So to be able to be here 7 points ahead of Real Madrid, 4 Clásicos in the bag, 2 titles off of Real Madrid, and 1 title potentially on the way again off of Real Madrid is something that needs to be studied, and it's something that we need to give Don Hansi Flick his flowers for, because somehow he has taken the lemons that life gave him and he turned them to lemonade. Everybody for Barcelona, aside from that defense today, was sensational. Pedri was amazing. Frankie de Jong was amazing. I did like how I need to talk about that Frankie de Jong tackle on Mbappé, or lack thereof, when Mbappé was looking for a second penalty. And I thought it took every bit of Frankie de Jong's maturity and experience to be able to pull away his foot so that Mbappé was diving rather than him sliding into that challenge from him. And I thought that's what experience gives you, and that's why I just really want to take a moment to highlight that from Frankie de Jong, because I remember there was a time this season against Real Betis that I criticized him for making a rash tackle, but today he just keeps showing that he's growing and he's learning, and today he was sensational for Barcelona. He captained this team. So I'm excited with this win. I knew that we needed something to really pick me up after that devastating loss to Inter Milan. This is exactly what I needed. Battering Real Madrid as a Barca fan is always good news to me, so I really had fun watching this, and of course 3 points in the bag. Now I'm going to leave it to you to tell me what you thought about this game in the comment section. Who were you rooting for? How did you find this match? And were you a Real Madrid fan? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section. There are just, I think, a few more games left, maybe 2 to 3 more games left to the end of the La Liga season. Barcelona are just sitting 7 points ahead of Real Madrid in the La Liga. Let me know who you think will end up taking it. I want to hear your thoughts about this game and more in the comment section. But until next time, guys, Vishka Barça.